How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about tires. I'm going to be going into some of the common misconceptions that's out there between budget and premium tires. A lot of people don't have an understanding as to what the difference is between a low entry tire and a premium tire. And I'm also going to be talking about some tips checking the condition of your tires. A lot of very poor condition tires have showed up in the workshop recently, and I feel it is an area that a lot of people don't have enough knowledge on. So without further ado, let's get into this video. If you're new to the channel, I hope you get some information in this video that makes you want to subscribe. Also, if you could, please hit that like button. It will greatly help the channel grow. I do have a playlist related to tires and reviews that I have done previously. I will link that in the description as well. The main reason for making this video is to share knowledge. I get customers coming to the workshop all of the time with extremely bad tires on their vehicles. They are not aware in a lot of instances that their tires were that bad, and it takes me to actually physically show the tires for them to understand it. So just raising awareness of people that own vehicles to check their tires on a regular basis. The other one is to actually showcase some of the technology or give information on the technology to salespeople, mechanics, technicians, people that are working or dealing with tires but don't necessarily have an interest or a reason to look further into them. I get this all the time when speaking with people, that they know what a tire is, they know what it does, but they don't actually know why they would go for a cheap versus a premium tire. And I have a lot of apprentices and techs in the industry that go for low end quality tires just solely based on the price. They don't look into enough on the performance side and what you can all around get from them tires. And I think that just comes down to the information that's being given through isn't necessarily as good as it should be. More information you have, the better decisions you can make. And ultimately, you can get a tire that suits your price range. You don't have to just go for a premium tire. That's not what this video is about. I ultimately just give the information to people, and you can pick actually a good mid or budget range tire that will suit your needs if you cannot afford to go for that premium range. Tire checks are absolutely fundamental for how the tire is going to perform. And if I break it down into 3 simple steps for you to remember, it would be the following: inflate, rotate, and evaluate. Inflate, you're going to want to set the tire pressures to the recommended correct amount. Depending on your cargo, whatever you're carrying, there's a tire placard in a tire sticker, usually in the pillar or on the door, that will give you a good indication as to what you are setting the pressures to. What's the recommended pressures that you should have in your tires from stock. The other one is rotation. Again, very simple. At every service or every 8 to 10,000 Ks, get your tires rotated. Also recommended to get them balanced and potentially aligned. But rotation is going to prolong the life of the tires. Last one, evaluate. You want to check the condition of the tires, or if you don't know what you're looking for, get the tires checked. Everybody does free tire checks, so there's no excuse to be driving around with terrible condition tires. When you're evaluating the tires, some of the common things you're going to be looking for: wear, you're going to be looking at the condition, inner and outer and center. Has it got normal wearing, or is it got uneven wear? Is there a scalloping? That can be an issue with suspension, which is causing it to wave in and out, also called cupping, I believe, in other countries. But scalloping is something that can cause high road noise as well, and it can be a sign that your suspension components are becoming a bit of an issue. Also, age wear, the likes of age cracking, the age of the tire, and perishing in general is a very good thing to look for. Damage, of course, if the sidewalls have any lumps in them, if the tire has been driven over gravel and it's starting to get them pinch marks where you see lumps coming out of the tread, all of those are very, very quick and simple checks to do, and it will mean that you're driving on the road with safe, good performing tires. Okay, so straight into the common misconception with tires. Cheap does not mean that it's going to wear out faster, and expensive does not mean that it's going to last longer. Some of the very high performing tires wear quicker than any other tires on the road. The high performing tires, with the compounds that they're made up of, with the ingredients that's put in them to make them an extremely grippy tire, means that they're not built to last long. They're just built to perform and have a very good grip when called upon. Also, they're designed for very high speeds in a lot of cases. An example of that is the Honda Civic Type R. And on the actual sticker on the window when you are buying one of these, there is a disclaimer telling you that these tires may not even last 10,000 Ks. This is not unusual. I've seen this before. High performing tires does not mean you're going to get a long life out of the tires. The other very common misconception is to do with EU labeling out there. So I'm over in Oz at the minute. We don't have any labels on the tires that people are directly checking. When I was working in the EU, working in Ireland, these labels caused so much confusion for people. They were seeing these Chinese budget range tires with high wet rating, and they seen more high priced tires with the same B or C wet rating. They were then going, tires is good, and that was the job done. Bear in mind that those labels are 3 tests. So when you see those labels on the tires, it is essentially just 3 tests. If you take the big manufacturers out there, you're talking about Goodyear, Bridgestone, Michelin, Continental, Pirelli, all of those brands have 50 plus in-house tests that they carry out. And those tire sticker labels do not equate to so much of the performance of the tire that they're actually very, very deceiving. I don't like them for that reason. There should be warnings in a sense to how they perform, and let me just run through some of the tests that they don't actually even have to do to get them labeling on it. The first one is braking on dry roads. So this is a huge factor. You would imagine it should be done, but it's not. Another one, which is a major one, is performance on wet roads and aquaplaning resistance. Coming from a wet country like Ireland, these are 2 very significant tests that you would hope your tires would have encountered before they hit the road, hit the market, and it isn't the case. So if you are performing going around a corner, or if you've come onto a road that has a coverage of water on it, you could easily aquaplane if that tire isn't equipped with enough drainage or evacuation that will cause the water to get out of it quickly. This was a topic that I spoke at length about with a customer. That very thing happened at very low speeds, and it wasn't something that should have happened with the amount of mileage on the tires, with the life that was left. The overall condition of the tire was exceptional. What wasn't was the branding and the design of the tire. That's why it failed in that test. So when people ask what is the difference between this $100 tire versus this $200 tire, for example, they look the same. I can't see any difference. Both of them are black. Both of them are going to go on the road. What do I need to know about both? Well, if I had to break it down to a more technical standpoint rather than just assessing the tread patterns, the tread patterns can give you a very clear indicator, but it's behind what the tread pattern is doing is ultimately what will give you the best all-round performance, shall we say. The compounds and components that makes up the tire can be very, very different on a budget range versus a mid or a premium range tire. The components consist of, or the compounds consist of, additives, fillers, and the likes of natural and synthetic rubbers. Now, what impact do they have on the tire? Well, they're going to have an effect on that short braking that you endure on wet roads. They're also going to have an aging protection in them as well, so they'll be different from one to another. And they're going to have a resistance to tire wear. So how they make up, or the ingredients that they put into them compounds, play a big factor in how that tire is going to perform. Now remember, just like I spoke about earlier with the Civic Type R, they make a conscious decision within the different tire ranges that they have, and they try and get the best for that option. So performance, high performance, very expensive tire, great grip, longevity terrible. Just bear that in mind. The tire manufacturers have decided to put certain ingredients into that tire to make it the best grip possible, to be able to withstand going at very high speeds, to remain rigid in design when cornering, and when it needs to be able to stop as quick as possible. That doesn't equate to different chain polymers that can make it like an all-round tire where it's going to last longer, but ultimately they get exactly what they want out of that tire. So I just grabbed this tire cutout that I have. I'll give you some close-ups of it as I speak, and I have spoke about at length this exact tire design and all the technology that goes into it in another video. I will link that in the description for anyone that's interested in it. For the component makeup of this tire, well, if you look closely here, you can see the steel wires that go around the bead area. You're going to have a ply lining that is going to be very different from one to another. The inner liner as well, the technology that goes into that. But ultimately there's between 10 and 20 components that can go into making a tire. It varies from different options, and there is a major difference from one to another in how they are designed. They all get vulcanized in, they all get baked, and they're all pressed together and formed in a mold, and then you get your tire pushed out at the end, and that's what you're left ready to hit the road on. So comfort on the road, longevity in the actual mileage that it gets, and performance, they're usually the three key markers for people. And I would say in a large bracket that's going to fit perfectly. For people on the other end of the scale that's just price orientated, I would say be very careful with your driving if you're just going for the cheapest possible option. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Now please bear in mind, this is not a direct push to buy the most expensive tire or the most well-known brand out there. This is just information sharing. With really good information, we can buy the best option in our range. Buy whatever tire you like, but make informed decisions. I have had plenty of budget range tires over the year. I've dabbled in mid-range. I've also had premium. I have seen the benefit of having a budget range tire when times were very tight. It gave me a bit of extra money in my pocket. I have also seen the downfall of cheaping out on getting a budget range tire on a higher performing vehicle. I had an Integra Type R. I decided I would cheap out, buy some budget range tires, and when I was taking a corner, I lost traction in an area that I shouldn't have. If I had a better performing tire, I wouldn't have been in an accident because of the tires that I had chosen. So make conscious decisions and buy the best tire that's suitable for your vehicle within your price point. Really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you found it useful and informative. If you did, please like, share, comment and subscribe, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.